Well, the fourth way that the Bible shows us that Jesus is true God is that people offered Jesus divine honor and glory. Now we say, well, that in itself doesn't really prove anything. People worship all sorts of things. People, worship rocks and carved wooden images. People worship all sorts of ideas about God. People even worship themselves. But it isn't so much that people offered divine honor and glory, but it's that Jesus allowed people to do that he received this worship. Now, this really drives home an important point, because when Jesus allows people to worship him, he's drawing a line. He's drawing a huge line. And the line is one that says that Jesus is either what he claims to be or he's a total fraud. See, if he was only a man, whether it's a teacher or a prophet or a good example, allowing people to worship him is totally wrong. It breaks God's commandments. It's putting himself in the place of God. And what kind of example is that? What kind of good teacher would teach people to worship him instead of the true God if that teacher wasn't God himself? What kind of prophet of God would allow people to worship him? And we see John in the book of Revelation, who is a prophet, going into the vision of heaven and taking in all this stuff, and he can hardly make sense of it all. And when he sees the glories of heaven, he falls at the feet of the angel who is showing him around, this elder, and he said, "Don't worship me. Worship only God." And so while John was offering worship, he's having nothing to do with it. Or Jesus, on the other hand, when people offer worship to him, he receives it. And he thinks it's proper and fitting that they should worship him. We see a number of examples in the Bible. And here's one from Matthew 14. Again, Jesus comes out to the disciples. They're out in the water, the Sea of Galilee, a terrible storm. They think they're going to die. This is where Jesus performs a miracle walking on the water. He comes out to meet them. And he finally climbs into the boat, and the wind died down. And those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." The only way that this could be right and proper and good, the only way that this could not be a terrible sin, a horrible blasphemy, is if Jesus is true God. He proves that he is by receiving divine honor and glory. Jesus, true God. The Bible shows us in these four ways. It calls them divine names, shows his divine attributes, demonstrates and records his divine works, and rightly shows that he receives divine honor and glory. The next one, we took a look at what does it mean, and how do we understand that Jesus is not just true God, but also true man.